Miriam, one of the greatest women in world and Jewish history, passes away in this week's Torah portion. And so I thought that to honor her memory, I would discuss the topic nearest and dearest to her heart throughout her life, the topic of marriage. Remember, Miriam's the young girl who convinced her parents to remarry after they had separated to protest Pharaoh's decree condemning all Jewish baby boys to death. After she convinced them to remarry, baby Moses, Moshe, was born. And then later, she criticized Moshe himself for the same issue, for having separated from his wife. This time, God appeared and he rebuked her. He told her that she was wrong because Moshe was different than any other prophet. He had to be ready at all times to speak to God face to face, and so he was correct to separate from his wife. But God was simultaneously telling her and us that she was right about everyone else. Moshe, and only Moshe, was right to separate from his wife, but no one else. In Judaism, we don't believe in celibacy. Recently, I was driving with a close friend who's single. We were in his souped-up sports car. It goes 0 to 60 in approximately the amount of time it takes to say the words 0 to 60. And he punched in the address in the GPS, and we went off on our way. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, I noticed that the GPS was telling us to make a U-turn. I pointed it out to him, and he said, "Oh, we must have missed our exit." And I said, "Why don't you have the sound on the GPS on?" And he said, "If I wanted somebody to tell me what to do, I'd get married." Now, I'm not often at a loss for words, but I was so unprepared for that zinger, I didn't have anything to say in response. So he made his U-turn, and then a few minutes later, lo and behold, the GPS told us again that we had to make a U-turn. I pointed it out to him, and I said, I've got you figured out. You don't want to be told what to do, so you're not going to get married. Instead, you prefer to spend your life driving around in circles. He didn't have an answer to that one. I have another friend who's single who was complaining to me once that after he was dating his girlfriend for about 3 months, things had changed. For the first 3 months, every time she'd call him, fireworks would go off. It was unbelievably exciting. But after 3 months, no more fireworks. I asked him, "Have you ever seen the Macy's fireworks show? Did you notice that it lasts about an hour and it takes place once a year on July 4th? That's fireworks, once a year for an hour. That's not marriage." Even in Hollywood, the best romances last the length of a movie, about an hour and a half. Marriage is about working together to build a partnership, complementing and complementing each other. Marriage is about rediscovering and regaining the side of your body, the side that God took from Adam when he created Eve. Now, of course, it's not easy working on that partnership. You've got to sympathize and empathize and commiserate with each other. You've got to be there for each other. You've got to be each other's biggest supporter and fan and cheerleader. You've got to be a constant shoulder to lean on and a sounding board for every idea and thought. And if one of you is upset at the other, that's going to be a sleepless night because you've got to talk it out to make sure to smooth things over. When you work on yourselves and work on that partnership and it works properly, there's nothing like it. You create a bond, a unity that is truly priceless. When I was studying in yeshiva in between college and law school many years ago, when I got engaged, the head rabbi in my yeshiva told me, "Your wife is the one person who will tell you what everyone else thinks about you." And that's why, for all these years, my wife's opinion is the one that matters to me most. And now that I mention my wife, I realize that there's another reason why I wanted to speak about marriage this week. Because 25 years ago today, I got married. So if you'll indulge me, I just want to send a special shout out to a very special person. Happy anniversary. I hope the next 25 years are as great as the last ones.
Ain't no woman like the one I got. No